What's cooking, everybody? I'm Dave Altizer from Kinotika, and today we're doing a top 10 of the Fuji X-H1. Number 1 on the list of the top 10 things to know about the Fuji X-H1 is that this thing is chunky. It's got a deeper grip. As you can see, my hand fits perfectly around this thing, and if you're comparing this camera to the Fuji X-T2 and the X Pro 2, this camera straight out of the box has the best, most comfortable grip of all the Fuji cameras. Number 2, in-body image stabilization. This is the number 1 feature on this camera. IBIS has been something that Fuji shooters have wanted for a very long time, and we finally have it with this camera. It's not as advanced as systems from Olympus and Panasonic or even the newer Sony systems, but we are getting up to 5 stops of IBIS using a lens like this. This is the 16-55, a 24-70 equivalent f2.8. With the IBIS, this camera is really rock solid. The video footage looks really smooth, and you can crank your shutter speed down lower than you normally would because that stabilization is pretty dang good. Number 3, magnesium alloy body. This camera is twice as strong as the Fuji X-T2, and if you're a shooter who is going out in the field, you're going to the Arctic, you're climbing up mountains, you're in the dust, rain and snow, this thing is a tank, and having a magnesium alloy body is a great addition to the Fuji lineup. Number 4 is the built-in LCD panel on the top here. As you can see, it lights up and it's really easy to read. And what's really great about this LCD panel is that you can completely customize it to have whatever you want on it. You can have it tell you how much video record time you have left, how many shots fired. It shows you all the battery icons that you have for if you're using the booster grip. You can see which batteries are lower than the others. It's a really handy feature to have. We do lose the exposure compensation dial, but we do gain this great LCD panel here. I like seeing this on mirrorless cameras, and I hope to see more cameras doing this in the future. Number 5 is the booster grip. Not only does this booster grip give you 2 additional batteries plus a trigger on the side here and extra grip, it actually gives significant performance upgrades. When you go into the boost mode on the booster grip, it takes your burst rate for stills from 8 frames per second to 11 frames per second in the mechanical shutter mode. It also takes your video record limit from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. That's for 1080p and 4K recording. Not to mention, this booster also has a headphone jack and a DC power plug, so you can plug this thing straight into the wall using the AC power unit. I do wish that Fuji would add a headphone jack on the camera itself. I don't know why they don't. It seems like there's plenty of room here to add a headphone jack, but if you're a video shooter, you want extra record time and a headphone jack, this accessory, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. The 6th thing that you need to know about the Fuji X-H1 is that it gives you the ability to use linear focus mode on the Fuji lenses. The reason that this is such an important feature and something that's a welcome addition to have is because all of these Fuji lenses are focused by wire. What that means is that you're not actually mechanically changing the focus, it's all done electronically in the camera and in the lens body itself. Linear focus mode basically means that when you focus it, no matter the speed, point A to point B is always going to give you the exact same result, and that is really nice to have on the Fuji camera for the first time with the Fuji X-H1. The 7th thing to know about the Fuji X-H1 is that they have added Bluetooth capability to the camera. It's really nice to see all these cameras now getting Bluetooth in addition to the Wi-Fi function, because it just makes it so much easier to connect to your phone. It's such a pain to have to go to the Wi-Fi section and make sure it's linked and then go back to the app, back and forth. Bluetooth sort of helps a little bit with that connection process, and it's good to have because the mobile app is pretty good. Number 8 is 4K at 200 megabits per second. This is a welcome addition on the Fuji lineup, and I'm happy to say that the footage looks really good and crispy. Unfortunately, the 4K footage does have a little bit of a crop. It's a 1.17x crop applied to the sensor when you're shooting 4K. That's not the case when you're shooting 1080p, but it's there with 4K, just like the X-T2. That's what we got. Number 9 is 120 frames per second in HD. Great to have in a camera of this size from Fuji. I am finding that the image does have a little bit of moire and aliasing, but it's still slow-mo. It looks crispy. I like it. There's no crop. Let's go Fuji. And last but not least, this camera has two new profiles internally that you can use, F-Log and the Eterna profile. Both of these profiles are designed specifically for video shooters. F-Log is a welcome addition to have internal. The X-T2 only gave you F-Log externally. We now have the ability to record a full log image internally, and because it's a 200 megabits per second codec, it actually holds up well and grades really well. In addition to F-Log, we also get Eterna, which is based on an old motion picture film stock from Fujifilm back in the day when people used to shoot movies on actual film. It looks great, it's got great skin tones, it's got plenty of dynamic range, and using Eterna or F-Log is going to give you amazing video footage out of this camera. We hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 video of the Fuji X-H1. I know personally I'm a big fan of the Fuji system, and it's great to have a real professional body like this in their lineup. It's gonna make it a lot easier for people to go from Canon or Nikon to this system, and because the lenses are so good for Fuji, because the color science is so good, this camera package is really tempting for a lot of photographers and even videographers. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out some of the other videos that we've done on the Fuji X-H1. Once again, I'm Dave Altizer, this is Kinotika, see you next time.